It is said that there are only two guarantees in life: taxes and death. This is Pantheon mythology, and these are the gods of death from across mythology. Also, if you love mythology, be sure to check out our clothing brand, Pantheon Apparel. Here you'll find epic designs inspired by mythology, folklore and legends. We ship worldwide and are rated excellent on Trustpilot. You'll find a link in the description. In the shadowed halls of the Egyptian afterlife, Anubis, with his iconic jackal head, presides with solemn dignity. As the god of mummification, he meticulously oversees the embalming process, ensuring that the rites are performed with precision. This preparation is crucial, for it preserves the body, enabling the departed to live again in the afterlife. Guiding the souls of the deceased, Anubis leads them from the Hall of Mart, where a ceremony critical to their eternal destiny unfolds. Here, in a ritual known as the Weighing of the Heart, Anubis plays a pivotal role. With a feather symbolizing Mart, the goddess of truth and justice, placed on the side of the scales and the heart of the deceased on the other, Anubis ensures that the scales are balanced. Only those whose hearts are as light as a feather, free of corruption and heavy deeds, can proceed. Anubis, therefore, is not merely a protector, but a judge, a guardian of ethical order. His presence ensures that those entering the realm of Osiris do so by virtue of their moral integrity. This belief underscored the Egyptian conviction that ethical conduct was essential for a favorable judgment in the afterlife. Beyond his roles in protection and judgment, Anubis also represents a comforting presence. To the ancient Egyptians, he was a reassuring figure, guiding loved ones safely through the perils of the underworld, ensuring that the virtuous found their place beside Osiris. Once a revered mortal king of Egypt, Osiris' story is a poignant tale of betrayal, murder, and ultimate resurrection. His legend begins with his brother Set's jealousy and treachery, which led to Osiris being deceitfully killed and dismembered. It was Isis, his devoted wife, who reassembled his body and brought him back to life using her magical powers. This act of resurrection by Isis not only restored Osiris but transformed him into the god of the afterlife, embodying the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. As the god of resurrection, Osiris became a beacon of hope and renewal. He assures his followers of a rebirth in the afterlife, a promise that resonated deeply with the Egyptians' beliefs in immortality and the eternal soul. His domain extends beyond the mere concept of death. He is deeply intertwined with the fertility and regeneration of life, mirroring the annual flooding of the Nile, which brings nourishment and richness to the otherwise barren deserts of Egypt. In the realm of the dead, Osiris presides as a just and benevolent king, judging the souls of the deceased with fairness. His own resurrection allows him to empathize with the fears and hopes of those who pass into his kingdom, making him a compassionate ruler who values moral integrity over mere ritual observances. Osiris's influence permeates various aspects of Egyptian culture, from religious rituals to the very kingship itself. Pharaohs were often regarded as incarnations of Osiris in life and death, embodying his virtues and responsibilities. In the pantheon of Greek mythology, Thanatos is not a fearsome reaper, but the serene and inevitable personification of death. As the son of Nyx, the night, and Erebus, the darkness, Thanatos represents the peaceful aspect of death. Unlike the violent ends often meted out by his peers in myth, Thanatos brings a quietus that is both gentle and unavoidable. Portrayed as a winged and youthful figure, Thanatos is often depicted with a calm, almost compassionate demeanor. His approach is not one of terror but of tranquility, serving as a reminder that death is a natural part of life that should not always be feared. This characterization sets him apart from other death deities who might revel in the chaos and destruction associated with their realms. Thanatos' duties involve guiding the deceased to the underworld, a task he performs with respect for fate and destiny. Rarely acting alone, he is often accompanied by his twin brother, Hypnos, the god of sleep, underscoring the gentle passage he facilitates, likened more to falling asleep than being taken away. In myths where he appears, Thanatos is shown as obedient to the fates, never taking a life before its natural end. This obedience highlights his role within the cosmic order of the Greek universe, ensuring that death happens according to the natural laws and not through arbitrary cruelty or malice. Hades is often cast in the shadows, not as a malevolent figure, but as the solemn and just ruler of the underworld. As the eldest son of the Titans Cronus and Rhea, Hades was allotted the domain of the underworld after the overthrow of his father, ruling over the dead with a fairness that was respected even among the gods. Hades' realm is not a place of torment, but a final resting place for all souls, whether they were valiant heroes or common folk. His kingdom is vast and includes the Elysian Fields, a paradisiacal area reserved for the virtuous, and Tartarus, where punishment is meted out to the wicked. This dichotomy in his kingdom reflects Hades' balanced approach to judgment, emphasizing his role as a more neutral figure than one of pure dread. Despite popular portrayals that merge his identity with that of a devilish overlord, Hades is depicted in mythology as a stoic and rule-abiding figure, deeply committed to the order and laws of the cosmos. His rare ventures away from the underworld are marked by significant mythological events, such as the abduction of Persephone, which explains the seasons according to Greek lore. Persephone's tale is a narrative of duality and transition, embodying the link between the seen and unseen worlds. As the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of harvest and agriculture, and Zeus, the king of the gods, Persephone was initially the goddess of spring, a being of growth and renewal. Her life took a dramatic turn when she was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld, an act that led to her becoming its queen. This transition from maiden to queen highlights her dual nature. In the underworld, Persephone rules alongside Hades with a quiet authority, respected by the dead and the deities of the underworld alike. Her time in the underworld marks the winter months on Earth, where the land lies barren, reflecting her absence from the world above. Yet Persephone's return to the surface each spring initiates the cycle of life anew, as her reunion with her mother Demeter brings about the blossoming of nature and fertility of the earth. The annual cycle led to her worship as a deity of resurrection and life, symbolizing the eternal return of life following the dormancy of winter. Persephone's story is also a tale of agency and adaptability. Over time, she evolves from a victim of fate to a powerful queen who mediates between worlds of the living and the dead. Her unique position allows her to navigate between both realms effectively, embodying the connection between birth and death, growth and decay. In Norse mythology, Hel occupies a singular space as the goddess presiding over Helheim, the cold and dreary realm of the dead. Daughter of Loki, the trickster god, and the giantess Angerboda, Hel's lineage is as complex as her domain. Half of her body alive and vibrant, and the other half dead and decayed. Her very appearance symbolizes the threshold between life and death. Helheim, unlike the fiery infernos of other mythologies' underworlds, is a bleak and misty place, reflecting the chill and isolation that characterizes the Norse view of the afterlife for those who did not die a heroic or notable death. It is here that Hel reigns with firm but fair control, overseeing those who arrive at her gates, neither punishing nor rewarding them, but simply giving them a place to exist after life. Her realm is vast and includes the dishonored and those who died of illness or old age, emphasizing that Helheim is not a place of torment, but rather a continuation of existence in a shadowed form. This nuanced view of the afterlife reflects the Norse belief in the importance of an honorable life and death. Despite her fearsome appearance and formidable heritage, Hel is often portrayed as a passive figure within her own realm, administering her duties without malice or favor. Her rule is marked by inevitability and acceptance, and she stands as a figure of natural order, ensuring that those who come to Helheim find their place in the world beyond. Odin, revered in Norse mythology, is the All-Father, holds dominion over war and wisdom, and uniquely serves as a guide for souls of slain warriors. As the chief of the Aesir gods, his presence is pivotal across the realms of life and death. Odin's dual role encompasses not just the orchestration of battles, but also the solemn duty of selecting and guiding those who fall heroically in combat to Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain. Valhalla, envisioned as a majestic, vast hall located in Asgard, serves as the final resting place for warriors deemed worthy by Odin. Here, these chosen warriors, known as Einherjar, prepare to aid the gods during the events of Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. This highlights Odin's strategic role in maintaining the balance and order of the cosmos, preparing for the future battles to come. Unlike many gods of war who are depicted merely as agents of chaos and destruction, Odin's association with death is marked by honor and nobility. He is often depicted as riding his 8-legged steed, Sleipnir, traversing the skies and battlefields to claim the souls of the valiant. This act is not one of mere collection, but a sacred duty to ensure that those who fought valiantly continue to have purpose beyond their mortal lives. Yama stands as a pivotal figure in the pantheons of Hindu and Buddhist traditions, embodying the roles of both the god of death and the ultimate judge of souls. Known as the Lord of Justice, Yama's responsibilities extend far beyond merely overseeing the end of life. He is the arbiter who determines the fate of the deceased based on their actions in the mortal world. In Hindu mythology, Yama is depicted as a stern but fair deity, mounted on a black buffalo, holding a lasso with which he binds a soul at the time of death. His domain, Yamaloka, is where the souls are brought to account for their deeds. Here, in his great hall of justice, Chitragupta, his scribe reads from the record of the deceased actions, and Yama passes judgment, deciding on whether the soul will face punishment, be reincarnated, or attain liberation, moksha. Yama's judgment is not arbitrary, but rooted in the laws of karma, the cosmic principle of actions and consequences. This makes him a unique figure of moral integrity and ethical rigor in mythology, respected and sometimes feared for his unyielding adherence to dharma, order and law. In Buddhist lore, Yama's role varies slightly. He's often depicted as a more fearsome figure, presiding over the Naraka or hell realms, ensuring that the karmic punishments are appropriately meted out. However, even in these traditions, Yama's primary function is not to punish indiscriminately, but to maintain cosmic justice, serving as a reminder of the moral weight of one's actions. In the vibrant, yet often somber tapestry of Aztec mythology, Mictlantecuhtli reigns as the formidable god of the dead, presiding over Mictlan, the deepest part of the underworld. His name, translating to Lord of Mictlan, conveys his dominion over this realm where the souls of the deceased undertake a challenging journey toward final rest. Mictlan is not merely a place of darkness and despair, but a realm of immense significance, where all except those who died in battle or childbirth would eventually descend. The journey to Mictlan, lasting 4 years, involved traversing obstacles such as vast rivers and mountain ranges, and was believed to be a reflection of the hardships faced in life. Mictlantecuhtli himself is often depicted with a skeletal body adorned with owl feathers and a necklace of human eyeballs, embodying the decay associated with death but also the authority of his rule. His appearance is stark, designed to remind the Aztecs of the inevitability of death and the importance of honoring those who have passed. As a deity, Mictlantecuhtli's role extends beyond merely overseeing the dead. He is a guardian of bones, the physical remnants of life, and a god who ensures the continuation of life cycles. His worship was marked by rituals that involved bloodletting and offerings, practices meant to appease his formidable nature and secure a safe passage for the souls of the dead. Mictecacihuatl, known as the Lady of the Dead, is a central figure in Aztec mythology, reigning alongside her husband Mictlantecuhtli over the underworld realm of Mictlan. As the queen of this deep and vast domain, she plays a crucial role in the journey of the souls who enter her realm, ensuring their safe passage and eventual rest. Her portrayal, often skeletal like her husband and adorned with regal attire typical of Aztec nobility, reflects her authority and reverence with which she was regarded. Mictecacihuatl's role goes beyond mere oversight. She is a guardian of the bones, the physical remains that are cherished and revered as seeds for new life in Aztec culture. Mictecacihuatl's responsibilities include presiding over the ancient festivals of the dead, which have evolved into the modern Dia de los Muertos celebrations. These festivals, marked by vibrant decorations, offerings, and the celebration of life's continuity, are a testament to her enduring influence. During these times, it is believed that she grants the dead leave to return to the earthly realm to visit their loved ones, illustrating her role as mediator between the worlds of the living and the dead. Shinigami, in Japanese folklore, are ethereal beings akin to the gods of death. Their origins, while less defined than those of deities in other mythologies, are steeped in cultural nuances that reflect Japan's unique perspectives on death and the afterlife. As spirits of death, Shinigami hold the eerie responsibility of determining when a person's life ends and escorting their souls to the afterworld, which is often envisioned as a realm of deep spiritual significance. Shinigami can be seen as ambivalent figures. They are neither purely malevolent nor benevolent. Their primary role is to maintain the balance between life and death, ensuring that the cycle of existence adheres to the natural order. This involves influencing human mortality, sometimes by leading individuals to their deaths in the cases where the end of life is imminent or unavoidable. Shinigami are frequently depicted as entities with complex moral compasses, often involved in intricate stories where human lives intertwine with supernatural events. They appear in various forms, sometimes as ominous figures cloaked in traditional robes, at other times taking on more abstract forms that can be both fearsome and awe-inspiring. Their method of ferrying souls is particularly poignant. Shinigami do not merely guide spirits away from the earthly realm, but also offer reflection on their past lives. This process is not only a physical journey, but a spiritual passage that prepares the soul for what comes next, be it reincarnation or eternal rest. Baron Samedi, with his unmistakable top hat, black tailcoat and skull-painted face, stands on the quintessential lure of the dead in Haitian voodoo. His dominion extends over the crossroads of where life meets death, making him a powerful figure in the spiritual pantheon, both revered and feared for his profound connection to the afterlife. Baron Samedi presides at the crossroads of the living and the dead, ensuring that souls transition safely to the underworld. His role is crucial. He is not only a guide, but also a protector who ensures that the dead are respected and that their final rites are properly performed. This care is vital for maintaining balance and preventing malevolent spirits from causing havoc among the living. Characterized by a boisterous, mocking personality, Baron Samedi is known for his crude humor and fondness for disruption. He's often depicted drinking rum, smoking large cigars, and using obscenely direct language, which, far from mere theatrics, serves as a reminder of the inevitability of death and the importance of living life to the fullest. In Roman mythology, Pluto is the authoritative god of the underworld, a figure synonymous with wealth and the hidden riches of the earth. While often equated with the Greek Hades, Pluto's portrayal emphasizes his dominion over the subterranean treasure of precious metals and fertile soil, rather than just the realm of the dead. This connection with wealth, derived from the Latin word plutus, meaning riches, highlights his dual role as both the overseer of the afterlife and the guardian of material abundance. As ruler of the underworld, Pluto is depicted as a more benign and less malevolent figure than might be expected of a deity overseeing the realm of the dead. His kingdom is not solely a place of darkness and despair, but also a domain of potential and renewal, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life and death, where endings give rise to new beginnings. The Morrigan, often referred to as the Phantom Queen, is one of the most enigmatic and powerful deities in Celtic mythology. Associated with war, fate, and sovereignty, she is both a figure of protection and destruction, embodying the dualities of life and death. The Morrigan's presence on the battlefield, often portrayed as a crow or raven, signifies her role as a harbinger of death, but also the guardian of the warriors, influencing the outcome of war. Her ability to transform into a crow or raven allows her to fly over battlefields, where she can be seen either instigating the fight or perching on the shoulders of those destined to die. This transformation underscores her connection to the otherworld and her ability to traverse between the realms of the living and the dead, reinforcing her role as a guide of souls. The Morrigan is not a singular entity, but is often described as a trio of sisters, which includes Badb, Macha, and sometimes Nemain or Anand. This triadic nature allows her to represent various aspects of battle, from the fury and chaos of conflict, represented by Badb, to the sovereignty and protection of the land, represented by Macha. In Welsh mythology, Arawn holds a distinctive position as the god of the dead and ruler of Arawn, a mystical and enigmatic realm often associated with peace and eternal rest, rather than torment. His domain is depicted as a paradisiacal land, abundant in food without sickness or old age, reflecting a nuanced perception of the afterlife that emphasizes continuity and comfort rather than fear and punishment. Arawn's rulership over Anon is marked by fairness and honor. He is a master of magic and keeper of many magical creatures, including his famous pack of white, red-eared hounds. These hounds, known for their haunting howls, roam the skies only during autumn and winter, hinting at Arawn's control over the seasonal cycles and his connection to the natural world. Arawn is not only a guide of souls from the physical world to Anun, but also a figure of retribution for moral transgressions. It is said that those who meet him are judged, and those found wanting are subjected to his corrections. However, these aspects are tempered by his role as a protector of the dead, ensuring that they find peace and resolution in his realm. Ereshkigal, in the pantheon of Mesopotamian deities, reigns supreme over the underworld, known as Irkala. As the queen of the great below, her dominion is characterized by its stark and inexorable nature, a realm where all souls, regardless of their earthly deeds, descend upon death. Her authority is absolute, making her one of the most respected and feared gods in Mesopotamian mythology. Her story is most vividly recounted in the myth of Inanna's descent to the underworld, where Ereshkigal plays a pivotal role. When Inanna, her sister and the goddess of love and war, descends into the underworld, it is Ereshkigal who presides over her trial and eventual death. This myth highlights Ereshkigal's dual nature. Though she is a strict and implacable ruler, she also upholds the laws of her domain with fairness and necessity. Ereshkigal's realm is not merely a place of darkness and decay, but also a site of transformation and renewal. It is under her stern governance that the dead are given their due respect, and the cosmic balance between life and death is maintained. Her role is essential, for the underworld is also a place of gestation, where the waters of life are born, and thus she is indirectly connected with the fertility of the earth. Nergal is a prominent deity in the ancient Mesopotamian religion, embodying the destructive forces of plague and war. Known for his fierce nature and formidable powers, he is also the consort of Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, which positions him as ruler in the realm of the dead. Nergal's dual aspects of both a war god and a god of disease highlight his role in upholding the balance between life and death. His influence extends beyond mere destruction, serving as a necessary force that enforces the end of life cycles, thereby maintaining cosmic order. Nergal is often depicted wielding a mace or sword, signifying his warrior aspects, and sometimes accompanied by symbols of death like lions or flames, underscoring his connection to both war and pestilence. Through his actions and attributes, Nergal represents the harsh but essential sides of existence, reminding adherents of the inevitability of death and the importance of respecting the divine forces that govern it. Chernobog, often referred to as the Black God, stands as a stark figure in Slavic mythology. His name, meaning Black God in Old Church Slavonic, encapsulates its associations with darkness, misfortune, and malevolence. As a deity of evil and the night, Chernobog embodies the antithesis of good and is often portrayed as a bringer of calamity and woe. This deity's role in mythology is characterized by his opposition to the forces of light and goodness, often represented by his counterpart, Belobog, the white god of light and goodness. Chernobog's presence is most notably acknowledged during the night and in the winter months when darkness prevails over the land. Depictions of Chernobog vary, but he is commonly portrayed as a fearsome, shadowy figure, embodying the dread and mysteries of the night. In some myths, he is described during rituals and folklore tales as a god who receives curses and ill wishes during festivals, symbolically taking on the community's evils to maintain balance. Puch, recognized among the ancient Maya as the god of death, presides over Mitnal, the darkest, deepest parts of Xibalba, the Maya underworld. This deity is often depicted with features that emphasize his dominion over death. Skeletal, with protruding ribs and an owl's head, or accompanied by owls, which were considered harbingers of death, his appearance is marked by bells that adorn his hair, signaling his presence with their mournful toll. As the ruler of Mitnal, Puch is associated with decay, destruction, and disaster. He was feared for his ability to bring about plagues and diseases, and the Maya believed that he roamed the night, announcing his presence with the sound of a howling dog, another creature connected with death in Maya lore. Our Puch's role extends beyond mere destruction. He's a crucial figure in the cycle of life and death. By overseeing the lowest level of the underworld, he is instrumental in the transition and transformation of souls after death, ensuring that they meet their fate according to the deeds of their mortal lives. Despite his fearsome attributes, our Puch was also respected and sometimes propitiated with offerings to avoid his wrath and ensure protection against untimely death. Rituals involving him would often be performed with great care to appease his destructive nature, highlighting the complex relationship between the Maya and the forces of death and decay. Iku, in Yoruba mythology, embodies death itself, holding a pivotal role in the spiritual and cosmological framework of the Yoruba people. As the personification of death, Iku is both revered and feared, seen as an inevitable and natural aspect of life that brings balance to the human experience. Iku is not merely a bringer of demise, but also a necessary transition point for the soul's journey to the afterlife. His arrival is not arbitrary. It is believed that Iku only comes at the appointed time, decided by Olorun, the supreme god, and the Orishas, deities, thus ensuring that the cosmic order is maintained. This highlights the Yoruba belief in destiny and the predetermined nature of life and death. In Yoruba society, Iku is often portrayed as impartial and inevitable, ensuring that each individual meets their fate without prejudice. The Yoruba people engage in various rituals and ceremonies to honor and appease Iku, seeking to understand their destiny and find peace with the transition that death brings. Supay, in the traditional beliefs of the Andean region, especially among the Inca and local cultures, holds dominion as the god of the underworld and the personification of death. He is a powerful and multifaceted deity, ruling over the Uku Pacha, the inner world in Andean cosmology, which is both a place of rest for the dead and a source of minerals and gemstones. As the ruler of the underworld, Supay was both respected and feared. He was often depicted as a robust figure, formidable in appearance, embodying the dangers and darkness of the subterranean realms he controlled. This portrayal reflects his dual nature, as a guardian of the earth's riches and a stern ruler over the souls of the deceased. During the Inca Empire, Supay was associated with both protection and retribution, commanding a host of demons known as Supaycuna to enforce his will within the dark corners of the earth. Despite his fearsome reputation, he was also recognized as a necessary part of the natural order, maintaining balance between the living world and the afterlife. Tuoni, in Finnish folklore, is the formidable god of the underworld, ruling over the dark and serene realm known as Tuonela. This shadowy domain, often depicted as a peaceful yet somber place, serves as the final resting place for souls. Unlike many other mythologies that depict the underworld as a place of torment, Tuonela is portrayed more as a place of eternal rest, reflecting the Finnish respect for death as a natural part of life. Tuoni himself is a figure of deep respect and intrinsic fear, embodying the inevitability of death. He is not alone in his duties. His family, including his wife, Tuonata, and their children play crucial roles in the operation of the underworld. This family aspect highlights the communal nature of the Finnish afterlife, where the dead are welcomed and guided by familiar figures. In mythology, Tuoni is occasionally depicted in negotiations with other gods for interacting with heroes who venture into his realm, either to challenge him or seek his wisdom. These stories often serve as moral lessons about the nature of life and the futility of trying to escape death. Despite his grim responsibilities, Tuoni is not viewed purely as a malevolent deity. Rather, he is a necessary part of the world's structure, maintaining the balance between life and death. His presence and that of his family in Finnish mythology provide comfort in the knowledge that the afterlife is under watchful care of judicious custodians. Sidapa is esteemed in Visayan mythology as the god who presides over the death of mortals, marking the time when each person's life will end. His dominion is not merely over the act of dying, but involves a deep connection with the fate and lifespan of individuals, indicating a complex role in the cosmic order. Residing on Mount Majas, the highest mountain in Panay, Sidapa's abode is said to be a place where the divine intersects with the mortal world. From this lofty vantage, he is depicted as observing the lives of people, determining their longevity based on a sacred tree which the names of destinies of every person are inscribed. This imagery emphasizes his omnipresent and all-knowing nature, overseeing the natural progression of life and death. Giltine holds a poignant place in Lithuanian folklore as the grim and inevitable personification of death. Her depiction often parallels that of the Grim Reaper, featuring a skeletal figure clad in a cloak wielding a scythe. This iconography underscores her role as the harbinger who reaps the souls of the dying, guiding them from the mortal world to the afterlife. Traditionally, Giltine was not always seen as a fearsome or malevolent figure. Initially, her image was more nurturing, associated with a natural and necessary transition rather than a figure to be feared. Over time, and possibly under the influence of foreign mythologies and cultures, her portrayal evolved into a sterner, more ominous character. Giltine's duties extend beyond merely marking the end of life. She is involved in the process of death, ensuring that it occurs timely and justly, reflecting the natural order of life and the inevitability of death. Her presence in Lithuanian mythology serves as a reminder of mortality, encouraging people to live righteous lives to meet a peaceful end. Jeoseung Saja plays a central role in Korean folklore as the divine emissary who escorts souls from the world of the living to the afterlife, known as Jeoseung, a place akin to the Western concept of purgatory. Translated literally, Jeoseung Saja means messenger of the world of the dead, reflecting his duties as a bridge between the two realms. Unlike the often fearsome depiction of the Grim Reaper, Jeoseung Saja is portrayed as a more bureaucratic figure, part of a larger celestial administration that administers the afterlife. He's tasked with ensuring that all spirits comply with celestial laws, making sure that each soul is accounted for, and that they move on to the appropriate place based on their earthly deeds. Angra Mainyu, known as Ahriman, stands as the embodiment of destruction and darkness in Zoroastrian mythology. The principal adversary of Ahura Mazda, the god of light and wisdom, Angra Mainyu represents the antithesis of all that is good, pure, and progressive in the universe. His existence underscores the dualistic nature of Zoroastrianism, where every positive force is countered by a negative one, maintaining the balance of cosmic and moral order. Angra Mainyu is the source of all that is malevolent in the world. He brings chaos, suffering, and decay. He is not merely a destroyer, but also a corrupter, tainting the creation of Ahura Mazda by spreading lies and discord, influencing beings to stray from the path of truth and righteousness. This spiritual warfare manifests in the physical realm, influencing the moral choices of humanity and the natural events of the world. The Grim Reaper, one of the most iconic figures associated with death, is often depicted as a hooded, skeletal figure wielding a large scythe. This image has become synonymous with the personification of death in Western culture. The Grim Reaper is believed to appear at the moment of death to sever the soul from the body, guiding it to the afterlife. His presence is both feared and inevitable, representing the universal nature of death. The origins of the Grim Reaper can be traced back to medieval Europe, particularly during the time of the Black Death in the 14th century. The massive death toll from the plague, combined with the widespread fear of mortality, led to the visualization of death as a tangible figure. The skeletal form of the Grim Reaper symbolizes the decay of the body after death, while the scythe he carries is reminiscent of the tools used during harvest, metaphorically representing the harvesting of the souls. Though primarily a Western concept, the Grim Reaper shares similarities with various death deities and figures across cultures. Mr. Reaper is not depicted as evil in most interpretations. Instead, he's a neutral figure performing the necessary task of guiding souls to their final destination, whether it be heaven, hell, or another afterlife. Nuestra Señora de la Santa Muerte, often simply called Santa Muerte, is a figure deeply rooted in Mexican folklore and neo-pagan beliefs. She's portrayed as a skeletal female entity, garbed typically in a long robe embodying death and its various aspects. This iconography is evocative of a Grim Reaper, a common symbol of mortality across various cultures, but uniquely feminized in the case of Santa Muerte. In her hands, Santa Muerte might hold several objects, like a scythe or a globe, each symbolizing her powers over life and the earthly realm. The scythe can represent the cutting of negative energies or a severing from material constraints, while the globe signifies her reach across the world. Santa Muerte is often associated with various attributes and protections. She is believed to offer healing, safety, and guidance to the afterlife, embodying both the fears and acceptance of death. Her followers turn to her in times of personal crisis, looking for miracles and protection, which has contributed to her portrayal as a complex figure who is both feared and revered. The sons of Horus were not merely sons of the sky god, but also crucial figures in the realm of death and the afterlife. These four deities, Imseti, Hapi, Duamutef, and Kebesenerf, were inextricably linked to the funerary rituals of ancient Egypt. Their primary role was the protection of the deceased internal organs. During the mummification process, these vital organs were removed and placed in canopic jars. Each son was assigned a specific organ to safeguard. Imseti watched over the liver, Hapi protected the lungs, Duamutef guarded the stomach, and Kebesenerf cared for the intestines. These organs were believed to be essential for the deceased's continued existence in the afterlife. Beyond their role as organ protectors, the sons of Horus acted as powerful guardians on the journey to the underworld. They were seen as formidable figures, capable of warding off dangers and ensuring the safe passage of the soul. Their presence was considered vital for a successful transition into the afterlife. In the ancient Greek pantheon, Hekate stands as a figure of immense power and complexity. Known predominantly as the goddess of magic and witchcraft, her influence extends into the domain of death, where she serves as a guardian and guide for the souls of the deceased. As the goddess of crossroads, Hecate's statues were often placed at these junctures, symbolizing her role as a protector at the critical points where paths diverge and fates are decided. Depicted holding torches to light her way through the darkness and keys to open the gates of the underworld, Hecate's representation reflects a vital role in guiding souls between realms. Her presence at the borders of these worlds underscores her ability to oversee transitions, particularly the passage of souls into the afterlife, establishing her as an essential deity in rites and myths concerning the end of life. Hecate's connection to the underworld is further emphasized during the Deepnon, the dark phase of the moon considered her sacred time. During this period, offerings were left at crossroads to honor her and seek her favor, which was believed to ease the passage of spirits and bring protection to the living. Her role in these rites highlights her dual nature as both a nurturer of the deceased and a wielder of profound esoteric knowledge. Macaria, known in Greek mythology as the daughter of Hades and Persephone, holds a unique role in the pantheon as the goddess associated with a blessed death. Unlike other deities linked to death, Macaria's domain is more closely tied to the peaceful and fortunate passing of souls, often connected with the afterlife, rewards for the righteous. As the daughter of Hades, the god of the underworld, Macaria's presence in Greek mythology reflects the softer, more compassionate side of death. She is seen as a counterpart to the more somber and sometimes fearsome aspects of the underworld, offering a more serene transition for souls destined for Elysium or the islands of the blessed. In this way, Macaria's role complements that of her father, overseeing the aspect of death that involves not punishment, but peace and the final rest for those who have led virtuous lives. Macaria's association with death emphasizes the importance of the afterlife in Greek belief systems, where the quality of one's death and the afterlife experience could vary significantly depending on how one lived. Her role underscores the nuanced view of death in Greek mythology, where it is not only a matter of fear, but also of hope for a blessed and peaceful end. Hermes, the messenger of the gods in Greek mythology, may not spring to mind as a deity of death, but his role as a psychopomp, an escort of souls to the afterlife, makes him a crucial figure in this domain. While Hermes is widely recognized for his swiftness and his duties as a herald of the gods, he also serves a vital function in guiding the souls of the deceased to the underworld. This lesser-known aspect of Hermes' character emphasizes his importance in the transition between life and death. As a psychopomp, Hermes is responsible for leading the souls of the dead to Hades, the ruler of the underworld. His role ensures that the journey from the world of the living to the realm of the dead is safe and orderly. This task reflects his ability to traverse boundaries not just between the mortal and divine realms, but between life and death. Hermes' involvement in this process highlights the Greek understanding of death as a passage rather than an end, with the god acting as a guide to ensure that each soul reaches its proper destination. His presence provides comfort and order in the face of death, making him an essential figure in Greek mythology's intricate portrayal of the afterlife. Izanami, a pivotal figure in Japanese mythology, embodies both creation and death. Alongside her consort Izanagi, she participated in the creation of the Japanese islands and numerous kame, deities, through a celestial rite involving a jeweled spear. This foundational myth establishes them as the progenitors of the natural and divine elements of the world. However, Izanami's narrative takes a tragic turn during the birth of Kagutsuchi, the fire god, when she succumbs to severe burns and dies. She subsequently descends to Yomi, the underworld, where she assumes rulership. This transition marks her as a deity deeply associated with the afterlife and the governance of deceased souls. Overwhelmed by grief, Izanagi follows Izanami into Yomi, hoping to bring her back to the living world. Defying the norms of the underworld, he lights a torch to see her, only to discover her decayed form. Horrified, Izanagi flees, provoking Izanami's wrath. She sends the hags of Yomi to chase him, but he manages to escape and seals the entrance to Yomi with a large boulder, permanently separating the world of the living from the dead, over which Izanami rules as queen. In Slavic mythology, Morana, also known as Marzana in Poland, Morina in the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and Mara in Eastern Slavic cultures, is a complex goddess associated with winter, death, and the cycle of nature's rebirth. She emerges as a significant figure that encapsulates the transition from the deathly cold of winter to the fertile bloom of spring. Morana is often depicted as a powerful deity with dominion over winter and death. In mythology, she is seen as a bringer of the season's fatal chill, embodying the natural decay and dormancy of winter. This representation links her closely with the themes of darkness and the end, yet she is also a crucial part of the cycle that leads to renewal and rebirth. Her role extends to guiding the souls of the deceased to the underworld, underscoring her as a bridge between the living world and the afterlife. Her story is woven with elements of tragedy and power. In some legends, Morana is described as the daughter of Lada, the goddess of beauty and fertility, and an unnamed god of the underworld, highlighting her intrinsic connection to both life and death. This duality paints Morana not just as a symbol of inevitable end, but also as a necessary force that ensures the continuity of life cycles. Morana's narrative is also enriched by tales of her interactions with other deities and symbols of different seasons, depicting her as a key figure in the mythological explanations of seasonal change. Each year, as winter recedes and the spring approaches, her influence wanes, symbolizing the defeat of death and cold by the life-giving forces of spring, a recurring theme that illustrates the perpetual struggle between the different forces of nature. Also in Slavic folklore, we have the shape-shifting Veles, a deity often associated with the underworld, embodying roles that extend beyond his patronage of livestock and his lordship over waters. As a god of the underworld, Veles is depicted as a custodian of the deceased souls, marking him as a significant deity in the realm of death and the afterlife. His connection to the netherworld is symbolized by his frequent depiction as a serpent or dragon, creatures often linked with subterranean realms and deathly powers in various mythologies. Veles' role as a death god is intertwined with his attributes as a shapeshifter and a trickster. In myths, he challenges Perun, the god of thunder and heavens, by ascending from the underworld in various forms, whether as animals, people, or even elements of nature. This ascendancy from below disrupts the cosmic order, leading to battles that are both literal and symbolic representations of the cyclical struggle between life and death, chaos and order. The aftermath of these battles, where Veles is defeated but not destroyed, represents the continuous cycle of death and rebirth, a fundamental aspect of Slavic belief systems regarding the natural world and the afterlife. Furthermore, Veles' domain over the underworld and his association with magic and the mystical arts also underline his role as a mediator between the earthly and the ethereal, guiding the spirits of the dead to their final resting places in the shadowy realms he governs. This places Veles at the heart of Slavic rituals concerned with death, where he is both revered and propitiated as a pivotal figure who controls the fates of souls beyond their earthly existence. Maman Brigitte is a revered figure in Haitian voodoo known as the Loa, or spirit of death and cemeteries. Unique among the Loa, she has links to Celtic mythology, specifically linked to the Irish goddess Brigid and Saint Brigid of Kildare. Her association with cemeteries involves her role as protector of graves, where she ensures the sanctity of burial sites, often marked by mounds of stones or crosses. Maman Brigitte is typically depicted as a woman with red hair, reflecting her Irish origins, and is known for her forthright and sometimes vulgar manner. Alongside her husband, Baron Samedi, they guide the Goede, a family of spirits associated with the afterlife. Maman Brigitte's attributes include healing powers, particularly in guiding souls to the afterlife if healing is not possible, and protection, especially for women in distress. She is worshipped with offerings of candles, black roosters, and pepper-infused rum, reflecting her fiery and protective nature. Maman Brigitte's connection to the black rooster, an emblem of the dawn and new beginnings, symbolizes the cycle of life and rebirth, which is central to her role within the voodoo pantheon. This aspect, along with her fierce protection of the dead and their resting places, underscores her importance in the voodoo practice, where she is considered a nurturing yet powerful force. Papa Legba, also a central figure in Haitian voodoo, is revered as the intermediary between the living and the spirits. Known for his role at the crossroads, he controls access to the spirit world, making him pivotal in voodoo ceremonies where he is often the first and last spirit invoked. His association with the crossroads symbolizes his ability to open and close paths, not just in a physical sense, but also in spiritual and metaphorical terms. This positions him as the guardian of not only the metaphysical thresholds, but also as a mediator of the afterlife. Legba's depiction varies, typically seen as an elderly man with a cane, embodying wisdom and connection to the spirit world. His presence is marked by elements of both benevolence and trickery, embodying the complexities of life's choices and consequences. As such, he is not just a guide, but also a protector who can offer new opportunities or remove obstacles, albeit with the expectation of respect and proper offerings from those who seek his aid. In rituals, Legba is essential for communication with the Loa, as he translates the languages and intentions of humans to the spirit world, ensuring that prayers and petitions are understood and responded to appropriately. This makes him an indispensable figure in voodoo practice, embodying a bridge between humanity and the divine. In Hindu mythology, Kali is the goddess of death, time, and destruction, marking her as a pivotal deity associated with the cycle of life and rebirth. Her origins are tied to combative myths where she emerges as a ferocious figure crafted from the rage of the goddess Durga during a battle with the demon Raktabija. In this legend, Kali's role is crucial as she prevents the rise of further demons by consuming Raktabija and drinking his blood, ensuring that no drops hit the ground to spawn more adversaries. Depicted with stark, fearsome features such as blue or black skin, a garland of skulls, a skirt of severed arms, and a protruding tongue, Kali's imagery symbolizes her dominion over death and her role as the ultimate destroyer of evil. This fearsome aspect is balanced by her nurturing, motherly nature to her devotees, illustrating the duality of destruction and renewal inherent in her worship. Her iconography and attributes are laden with deep symbolism. Her blackness represents the all-encompassing nature of the void from which everything emerges and eventually returns. The garland of skulls and severed hands signify her dominion over time and karma, while her weapons and fierce demeanor highlight her role as a protector and liberator of those who seek her refuge from moral and spiritual peril. Freya, in Norse mythology, is renowned as the goddess of love, fertility, war, and magic. Her role extends beyond mere beauty and desire, as she also governs the more solemn domains of death and the afterlife. Known for her association with the Vanir tribe of gods, Freya's narrative is rich with tales of her prowess in Seder, a form of magic used to alter fate and perceive the future, making her a highly respected and multifaceted deity. One of Freya's most notable roles is her dominion over the afterlife realm of Folkvanga. Here she selects half of the warriors slain in battle, demonstrating her integral role in the cycle of life and death. This selection process showcases her importance in the preparation of Ragnarok, the end of the world in Norse mythology, where these chosen warriors are deemed essential. Freya's connection with various elements symbolizes her complex nature. She rides a chariot pulled by cats, wears the precious Brisingamen necklace, and has the power to transform into a falcon. These attributes reflect her dominion over love and fertility, as well as her fierce aspect as a war goddess who commands the Valkyries and chooses the slain warriors destined for her hall. King Yan, also known as Yan Lo Wang, is a formidable figure in Chinese mythology, serving as the ruler of the underworld and the judge of the dead. He presides over Diyu, the realm of the dead, where he oversees the judgment and punishment of souls based on their actions in life. This role highlights his central place in the cosmic order of Chinese beliefs, emphasizing themes of justice, morality, and the afterlife consequences of earthly behavior. In mythology, Yan Wang is often depicted as a stern and fearsome judge, accompanied by guardians Oxhead and Horseface, who assist in maintaining order with the underworld and bringing the souls before him for judgment. This imagery underscores his authority and the serious nature of his duties. Yan Wang's judgments are critical in determining the fate of souls, whether they move on to better reincarnations, suffer punishments, or potentially even ascend to higher spiritual existences based on their earthly deeds. This process is integral to the functioning of the underworld, reflecting the broader Chinese cultural emphasis on ethical conduct and the moral implications of people's actions. Erlik, also known as Erlik Khan, is a prominent figure in Turkic and Mongolian mythology, revered as the god of death and the underworld. He's often depicted as a dark and malevolent deity, embodying the forces of evil, death, and destruction. Erlik resides in the depths of the underworld, a place associated with darkness, decay, and the finality of death. According to the myths, Erlik was one of the first beings created by the supreme deity Ulgan. However, due to his pride and subsequent rebellion, Erlik was cast out of the heavenly realms and banished to the underworld. This expulsion marked him as a symbol of opposition to the forces of light and order. In the underworld, Erlik became the ruler of the dead, overseeing souls of the deceased and serving as a judge who determines their fate in the afterlife. Erlik's influence extends to causing plagues, diseases, and various forms of suffering on Earth, often symbolizing the unavoidable nature of death and the harsh realities of the human condition. His role is not limited to punishment and destruction. He also represents the cyclical nature of life and death, with significant impact on shamanistic practices in the region. Shamans often sought Erlik's guidance or appeasement to ensure the safe passage of souls to the afterlife to protect the living from his malevolent influence. Oya, in Yoruba mythology, is not only a goddess of storms and winds, but also a significant deity associated with death and the afterlife. As the guardian of cemeteries, Oya holds a crucial role in overseeing the passage of souls from the world of the living to the afterlife. This connection to death makes her a powerful intermediary between life and the spiritual realms, where she guides and protects the deceased on their journey to the afterlife. Her role as the queen of the cemetery underscores her importance in the Yoruba belief system, where death is seen as a transition rather than an end. Oya's fierce and protective nature extends to her control over the gates of the cemetery, where she decides who may enter and ensures the safe passage of souls. This makes her a revered figure in rituals surrounding death, where she's invoked to provide strength, guidance, and protection for both the living and the dead. In addition to her role as guardian of the dead, Oya governs the winds that sweep away the old, making way for new life, reflecting the cycle of destruction and renewal that is central to the Yoruba understanding of life and death. Samael, known as the Angel of Death, is a formidable and complex figure in Jewish mysticism and folklore. His name, which translates to the venom of God, reflects his dual role as both a destroyer and a servant of divine will. As the Angel of Death, Samael is responsible for carrying out the divine decree of death, often depicted as administrating a lethal drop of poison to souls at the moment of their passing. Samael's character embodies both the terrifying and necessary aspects of death, maintaining the balance between life and the afterlife. In addition to his role as a deathbringer, Samael is also seen as an accuser and a seducer, leading souls into temptation and ultimately to their doom. This dual nature positions him as an enforcer of divine justice and a tempter, further complicating his image in religious and mystical texts. Some traditions even associate Samael with the serpent of the Garden of Eden, suggesting his involvement in humanity's original sin. Despite his fearsome reputation, Samael's existence is essential to the cosmic order, illustrating the intricate interplay between life, death, justice, and transgression in the spiritual realm. In Breton, Cornish and Welsh folklore, Anku is often regarded as the personification of death. This spectral figure is traditionally depicted as an elderly skeletal man wearing a black cloak and wide-brimmed hat, which conceals his face. He wields a scythe and is associated with a creaky cart or coach pulled by horses that he uses to collect the souls of the deceased. The appearance of Anku, or the sound of his cart, is considered an omen of impending death. Anku is said to be the last person who dies in a year in a parish, and for the next year, this soul becomes Anku for that area. This role as a collector of souls ties Anku deeply into the community's understanding of death and the afterlife, reflecting the cycle of life and death that every community undergoes. In some stories, Anku was once a living prince or a cruel man who, after encountering death himself, was cursed to exist eternally as Anku, roaming the earth and guiding souls to the afterlife. This figure embodies not only the fear of death, but also serves as a guardian who ensures that souls reach the afterlife safely. Hine Nui Te Po in Maori mythology is revered as the goddess of the underworld, a pivotal figure who embodies the transition from life to death. Originally known as Hine Te Tama, she is the daughter of Tane, the god of forests and birds. Her transformation into Hine Nui Te Po occurred after a devastating personal revelation. She learned that Tane, whom she had married, was also her father. Overwhelmed by this discovery, Hine Te Tama fled to the underworld, where she embraced her new role as Hine Nui Te Po, the guardian of the afterlife. In this capacity, she receives the spirits of the deceased, guiding them through their journey in the spiritual realm. Her dominion over the underworld is marked by her deep connection to the process of death and rebirth, where she ensures that the cycle of life continues beyond physical existence. As the goddess of death, Hine Nui Te Po is central to the spiritual landscape of the Maori, overseeing the passage of souls and playing a crucial role in the maintenance of the cosmic balance between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Velnius in Baltic mythology is a key figure associated with the underworld and the spirits of the dead. As the god of the dead, Velnius oversees the souls of those who have passed on, ensuring their journey to the afterlife is guided and protected. His domain includes the spiritual realm, where he exerts control over the dead, safeguarding the boundaries between the world of the living and the realm of the deceased. Velnius plays a crucial role in maintaining the spiritual order, where his influence ensures that the deceased are properly guided to their final resting place. His position as the guardian of the dead reflects the deep respect the Baltic people have for death and the afterlife, emphasizing the importance of honoring and respecting those who have passed. Velnius's responsibilities as a god of the dead highlight the significant place he holds within Baltic religious traditions, where he is both feared and revered as a powerful figure governing the afterlife. Anhanga, a prominent figure in the mythology of several Brazilian indigenous groups, is often associated with both the protection of the forest and the sinister realm of death and the afterlife. While seen as a benevolent protector of wildlife during life, his role takes on a darker turn after death. Many indigenous cultures believe that the soul of a deceased individual is vulnerable to the malevolent influence of Anhanga. It is feared that the spirit of the departed may be captured or harmed by this powerful entity. To protect the deceased, intricate funerary rites and rituals are performed. These often involve creating a barrier between the world of the living and the spirit world to deter Anhanga. Furthermore, Anhanga is linked to various forms of misfortune and illness. It is believed that he can inflict suffering upon the living in a form of retribution or simply an expression of his malevolent nature. This fear has led to the development of protective measures and apotropaic rituals designed to ward off his influence. We're fortunate enough to be blessed with an almost countless number of deities associated with death, and I could be here for hours if not days, so apologies if I've missed any favourites. But as we've journeyed across the globe and through the ages exploring the enigmatic deities of death from a multitude of mythologies, we've seen how different cultures perceive and personify the end of life. These gods and goddesses are not just rulers of the underworld. They are symbols of justice, transformation, and the eternal cycle of life and death. Each deity brings a unique narrative that reflects their culture's values and beliefs about mortality and the afterlife.